Notice of public meeting of the City Commission of the City of Brownsville. Pursuant to Chapter 551, Title 5 of the Texas Government Code, the Texas Open Meetings Act, notice is hereby given that the City Commission of the City of Brownsville, Texas, in accordance with Article 5, Section 12 of the Charter of said city, will convene an executive session and a regular meeting on Tuesday, November the 6th, 2012, at 5:20 p.m. and 6 p.m. in the Commission Chambers on the second floor of Brownsville City Hall, located at 1001 East Elizabeth Street, Brownsville, Cameron County, Texas. Executive session item A, consultation with attorney pursuant to Texas Government Code, Section 551.0711A, regarding reasonably contemplated litigation and pursuant to the Texas Government Code 551.0712, on a matter in which the duty of the attorney to the governmental body under the Texas Disciplinary Rules of Professional Conduct of the State Bar of Texas clearly conflicts with the duties under Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code. Executive session item B, consultation with attorney pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.0711A, regarding reasonably contemplated litigation and pursuant to the Texas Government Code 551.0712, on a matter in which the duty of the attorney to the governmental body under the Texas Disciplinary Rules of Professional Conduct of the State Bar of Texas clearly conflicts with the duties under Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code. Executive session item C, consultation with attorney regarding real estate transaction pursuant to Sections 551.071 and 551.072 of the Texas Government Code.
Mayor, I move we go into executive session.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, Estella, it's 6 o'clock.
Yes, sir. Pledge of Allegiance.
Everybody stand up for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, and with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible. Okay, tonight we will have the invocation by Pastor Jesus Briceño.
Gracias. Oremos. Señor, en esta tarde queremos pedirte muy en especial por un día especial como hoy, día de votación en Estados Unidos. Pedimos que tú estés con cada uno de los que trabajan en el conteo, en las urnas de votos, y que todo se haga justa y equitativamente por toda nuestra nación, en cada ciudad, en cada estado, en cada condado donde esto se está llevando a cabo. Tú sabes quién será el futuro presidente de nuestra nación y te pedimos de antemano que tú seas con esta persona, que tú le ayudes a tomar las decisiones correctas, que le des sabiduría para trabajar con su equipo con todo el equipo presidencial con el cual estará trabajando el futuro tiempo. Señor, también específicamente por nuestro mayor de nuestra ciudad, por cada representante aquí presente, por cada comisionado, por cada uno de los que trabajan directa o indirectamente en nuestra ciudad, te pedimos que tú les ayudes también. Te pedimos por los planes, por los proyectos que tienen para la ciudad de Brownsville, que se lleven a cabo y que se ejecuten de la mejor manera. Dale sabiduría, dales gracia, dales favor. Te pido por cada una de sus familias que también forman parte integral de todo este trabajo que ellos desarrollan cada día para nuestra comunidad y para el mejor desarrollo y desempeño de la misma. Gracias por sus vidas, síguelos bendiciendo. Queremos que Brownsville mejore en todas las áreas y para ellos necesitamos un buen equipo de trabajo como el que tenemos hoy representado aquí presente. Muchas gracias por cada uno de ellos, Señor, y pedimos que tú los bendigas, que el trabajo de sus manos, que donde quiera que estén, tú los ayudes, los guardes y los protejas, y sobre todo que Brownsville se distinga de todas otras ciudades. Gracias por sus vidas. Darles de tu bendición, guía sus pasos en todas las decisiones que tengan que tomar, y sobre todo que sus vidas sean bendecidas. Bendice Brownsville, bendice nuestra nación, en el nombre de Jesús te lo pido. Amén.
Okay, so I think it's action A, action item A.
Item A on action of items discussed in executive session, action to proceed as advised by legal counsel.
I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item B, action to proceed as advised by legal counsel.
Move to table. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item C, consideration and action on sale of real property described as blocks 128, 129, 130, 135, 136, and 137 of the Brownsville Original Town Site.
Move to table. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Mayor's activity report.
Real briefly, but I do want to congratulate each and every citizen of the city of Brownsville for coming in first place on Healthy Communities. We partnered up with BISD, the university, and with a multitude of other groups. And I want to tell you that, which has always been my feeling, that when Brownsville wants to set out to do something, they can do it. And so I congratulate the city. There will be more publicity on that with HEB. And I just can't thank you enough for all the people that participated and contributed. Keep the good faith in our good city of Brownsville. Commissioners?
I would like to thank everyone that was on the planning team for the Ciclovia that happened this past Sunday, particularly the health department and all of the managers of our 4 Ciclovias, including School of Public Health, Healthy Communities, UTB, TSC, Department of Health and Human Performance, and the River Rockets, who were the managers of the Ciclovias. We had 4,000 people in the streets, anywhere from Dean Porter Park to Lincoln Park on Sunday, and had to cut it short because of the thunderstorm. But there were still people driving in and very disappointed that we were turning them away because we had to stop an hour early from the rain. To give an idea of, I would also like to extend a great thanks to the police department and the traffic department. Y'all worked really, really hard, and you also were so helpful and cooperative in our planning sessions, and we thank you for that. And the many volunteers that we had. We had our debriefing session this morning, and turned out that we had an overwhelmingly positive experience. Many of the few negatives that we did hear were things that they wanted more of, like more music or more bikes or something of that nature. To give a few statistics, Bike Texas was here with their trailer full of 45 bikes. They rented for free those bikes 3 times over during the Ciclovia, and everyone except for one person that requested a bike during the event eventually got a bike. So they were able to service the entire Ciclovia. The other thing is that they gave out 2,000 safety lights to our children throughout the event, and TxDOT in the adjacent booth gave out an additional 500 to 600 safety lights, and left us with even more than that to use at our different events as the year goes on. So we had some really good partners from outside of Brownsville as well. Do we have pictures, Judy? We have a couple pictures to share with folks. Can you go back there? The one in the middle was one of our favorites. This was a young woman who's handicapped, and her father was pushing her in a wheelchair, and she was just delighted. And her smile was perhaps the brightest there. I would also add that there were 8, I counted them, city department heads, including, that is not including Commissioner Villarreal, myself, and the mayor, on bikes in the streets among the people this weekend on Sunday. And it was a delight to see all of the department heads enjoying the event.
Thank you, Commissioner, and I do want to take a special thanks to Bike Texas. They were really wonderful. As a matter of fact, I forgot, and I thought my picture was going to come out there in the elders, and I'm glad it didn't. But it's one of my close friends. They did leave me a box of lights for the commissioners, and I forgot to bring it. So I got, I forgot, guys, but I'll bring it next week in case y'all want some or come by the office. But anyway, they were spectacular, and so I do want to thank them for. Any other commissioners have any reports?
Just for the live viewing audience, that we have 1 more hour to go before they close the polls, so if anybody hasn't gone out to vote, do so at this time.
Yeah. I think he's trying to get rid of the public. No, I'm just kidding. No, you do have 50 minutes to vote, and I understand there's record turnout. So we'll try to kind of push this meeting along so you guys can go listen to the election results. Okay. Employee of the month?
Employee of the month.
Mayor, members of the commission, in the spirit of Ciclovia and our wellness programs, we felt it deserving and an honor to present Judy Hernandez, our wellness coordinator, with the Employee of the Month for November 2006. Well, we're going to present her. We got 2 employees of the month, her and her babies. Maybe we'll be able to see this film sometime in the future. As you know, Judy has worked with us, and it's been 2.5 years since she's been with us. It's hard to believe, but it's been true. It's true that she's been here 2.5 years. Time flies when you're having fun and wellness. She's worked on the binational inaugural ceremonies, coordinating with the Biggest Loser programs, you name it, the Guinness World Records programs, Zumba class, and all those classes that have put Brownsville on the map as far as our wellness and our ability to gather our community to involve themselves in these wonderful events. Of course, Judy works with the health department. She's been there throughout her whole process. For the first few months, she was administrative tech, and then in a fast pace, became our wellness, took on the challenge of being the coordinator, and she has done very well for us, obviously. So we thank her so much for what she's done, and she is the employee. We offer her the plaque. We only have 1 watch. We'll give you a watch later, 6 months from now. And where's the pen, Judy?
Judy, you want to say a couple of words?
Yes, she does, but she is eligible for the Employee of the Year in our banquet in December as well.
Okay.
And everybody is willing to take her to lunch every day, so don't worry about that.
Commission Mayor, thank you so much for this opportunity, and Mr. Kavler as well. It's been an honor to work for the City of Brownsville for 2.5 years. I've gone through so many experiences of coordinating so many events, It's just been a great honor to provide such a great service to the citizens of Brownsville. So I thank you for the opportunity.
Well, job well done, and keep smiling, okay?
Thank you.
Agenda item number 4, consent agendas, A through D.
Move to approve. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item number 5, consideration and action to appoint a member to the Brownsville Public Utilities Board.
Mayor Commissioner, we have one appointment, Mr. Ramon Hinojosa, who was elected to the TSC board, and he's not eligible for reappointment. He has served his term, and we are filling in that vacancy. We have the viable candidates and 5 viable applicants there. You have the applications in your packet. They're all willing to serve, and it's the decision of the commission as to who gets appointed.
I make
I
a
would like-
motion.
Oh,
Go ahead. I'll make a motion to appoint Ms. Rosemary Martinez. She has a good economic background, business background, and considering the direction that PUB is going with some major projects, I think that she'd make a really good fit. Second.
Any seconds? Okay. Any other motions?
I would like to make a motion to approve Noemi Garcia.
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. They're all, I personally reviewed all the applications, and I want to thank each and every one of them because they're all very well qualified. And there will be some more openings coming up next year, and we'll certainly consider them and thank them very much for their interest in this appointment.
Thank you, sir.
Item number 6, consideration and action to appoint or reappoint 4 members to the Brownsville Metro Transit Advisory Committee.
Hi,
Good
Norma.
evening. Commissioners, we've got 3 members that are seeking reappointment, and we've got 1 new member that is seeking an appointment. At this point, we've got the members seeking the reappointment are Ms. Viola Carey, Mr. Daniel Lenz, and Mr. Julian Lopez.
How many terms have they served?
I believe they've all served at least 2 terms or more.
And do we have any other applicants that are interested?
No, the only new applicant that we've received has been Ms. Teresa Saldiva. That's my understanding.
Have we, it's been on the city website?
Right.
Address. I apologize for not having actively recruited, and so I would like to, maybe we can table this so that we can, any of the other commissioners as well, to recruit possibly new.
You have 3 members that are seeking reappointment, right?
Right.
And all 3, if I recall, have done what my review was an excellent job and
Right.
have always attended and
And reapplied.
shown great interest.
Right, their attendance is
Okay,
been
so,
good.
because you got four availabilities.
Actually, yeah, actually, I've got, right now, we've got just 1 that is active, so we would have 6. So after these, we're still going to have 2 more appointments.
Okay.
The one thing that I am seeing here on this chart is that the one appointment, no, there is a District 2, right?
Yeah, there's one.
What am I-
Two District 1 and 3 District 3 and 1 District 2.
Right now, the ones that are seeking the appointments are, we've got 1 for District 1, which is Ms. Viola Carey. 1 for, we've got 2 under District 3, Mr. Daniel Lenz and Mr. Lopez. We currently have Ms. Sylvia Berry that is not up for a reappointment for District 2, and Teresa Saldiva would be District 4.
So we
And
have
the
4
two-
people. We have 4 people who are interested, and we have 4 openings.
We have
There's-
4, no, after these 4 positions, we're still going to have 2 more, the 2 at-large positions that are going to.
Okay.
It would be great to see representation from District 4 and possibly 2, just because that's my favorite.
Well, Ms. Saldiva is from District 4.
Right.
Okay.
And she's one of the new ones?
Yeah, she would be the new one.
Oh, okay.
If it pleases the commission, I'd make a motion to appoint Mrs. Saldivar in place of Sylvia Berry. She doesn't want to serve anymore?
No, she is. Her position is not up. The only
Oh,
one.
okay.
Yeah.
She's District 2's representation.
Well, there's 3 reappointments that are
Right.
acting,
Just reappoint.
and so there's how many slots available?
There's a total of
3.
7 slots that are available, 6. Okay, because
Okay, so
once-
even if we arguably reappoint the 3 and then
There's still
put Ms.
spots.
Saldivar, that would be 4, so we would have one
you
more.
still have
2 more.
two more appointments.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I said, these boards have to kind of continue going.
Right.
And if they're doing a good job, we might think about taking the 4 that you've suggested.
And then we still have 2 more that we
And
need to.
have 2 more, and then we'll all actively get a little bit more involved in
Okay,
trying to
I
figure
will
out.
make a motion, then I'll do the motion to appoint the slate, the 4, as you have
Presented.
Second.
presented.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, Norma.
Thank you.
Okay, we have public hearing.
I have a public hearing on number 7, public hearing and action on first reading on protested ordinance number 235-2012-605-CU, an ordinance allowing a conditional use permit to sell on-premises alcohol for Block 21 of El Jardín subdivision, Share 19, located at 2115 Old Port Isabel Road.
Mayor, we're going to ask that we table this again. We haven't
Okay.
quite finished.
Motion to table.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion's tabled.
Item
Pass.
8, public hearing and action on first reading of ordinance number 2012-1361-B, an ordinance to adopt a new single-member district boundaries.
And before you start, Ramiro, you did circulate this to all the commissioners ahead of time?
Yes, I
Okay,
emailed all the
everybody-
commissioners.
Everybody's had a chance to take a look at it?
I just couldn't get, even for as much as I expanded it, I still couldn't get it up to the final lines. I went up on percentages on the email. I took it up to 140%, and I still couldn't get a clear visual on the lines, on this particular map.
Okay, for District 1, the line is really 14th Street here, except for population purposes. You had to take a little bit of Boca Chica and Paredes line is the line. So that's Paredes line right here, and this is Boca Chica.
And again, I just want to clarify, so I mean, we don't have to go to a lot of discussion. I think I wanted to make sure that everybody got well represented, but what I wanted to make sure is that this was in accordance with the guidelines that were given to us by the lawyer out of San Antonio or something?
Yes, Mr. Rolando Rios is our consultant on redistricting.
So it falls within the legal, in other words, this districting, there won't be any challenges from a legal standpoint, right?
No. There's certain guidelines that I circulated to everybody. If you want, I'll go down those guidelines.
No. Well, I don't know, maybe
or-
somebody hadn't seen it, but I think I just want to make sure all the commissioners are fully aware and we're given ample opportunity to discuss this.
Of course. I met with just about everybody, and then we emailed it, circulated through email, and I didn't get any comments back, so that's why we put it on the agenda. But I think with the agreement that I heard from almost everybody was that we wanted clear boundaries, and not really something that you're on one side of the street and you're on the other side of the street, you're in one district or another. So we went through several kind of versions of this map, and obviously when the guidelines say that you try to obviously equal out the population and keep it under a 10% deviation, but also geographic boundaries have to be there has to be a reason for the geographic boundaries. So if you want, I'll go down the list, and I think we hit on all this with this map. So number 1 on this list is where possible, easily identifiable geographic boundaries should be followed. So what we did there is we took the expressway as a boundary. We took Altenglor, 281, Boca Chica, and we put those as the significant boundaries in Brownsville. And that's kind of where the result came, this result occurred. Communities of interest should be maintained in a single district where possible, and attempts should be made to avoid splitting neighborhoods. The biggest impact of the current alignment of the districts is District 3 and District 4. Those, we're proposing major changes to those. However, I think that 3 and 4 meet that number 2, which is the communities of interest should stay together. You know, downtown, Rio Viejo, District 4 basically, I think, has very general, you know, the same interests in mind. Number 3, to the extent possible, districts should be composed of whole voting precincts. You know, that was also looked at. Number 4, although it is recognized that existing districts will have to be altered to reflect new population, any districting plan should, to the extent possible, be based on existing districts. You know, obviously that changed a little bit, considering that we wanted to have clear boundaries. But this all meets the regulations and the federal regulations. Number 5, district must be configured so that they are relatively equal in total population. That's a deviation of 10%, which we meet that. Number 6, the district should be compact and composed of contiguous territory. Compactness may contain a functional as well as geographical dimension. I think we meet that as well. Number 7, consideration may be given to the preservation of incumbent constituency relations by a recognition of the residents of incumbents and their history in representing certain areas. That the only one that's affected there is I believe is District 3. You reside in District 3 and it's moving out in this plan. Number 8, the plan should be narrowly tailored to avoid retrogression in the possession of racial minorities. We completely meet that. And number 9, the plan should not fragment a geographically compact minority community under the Voting Rights Act. So we meet all that. So we meet all the standards, and this plan has to be adopted before the next election. So and this federal government requires 60 days in order to approve. So it has to go through another, once you approve here, it goes through another process, federal process.
Right. Okay, this is a public hearing. Does anybody have any comments?
Can I say something real quick? I mean, I think we all understand the map, but I think that this is going to affect our constituents. So is it possible to maybe go over the color coding and let the public know what district is what?
Commissioner,
where the
if
lines
you,
are at?
in lines with your, do you have something a little bit clearer?
I
know you do because you had, when I met with the gentleman from San Antonio, there was clear, I'm sorry, I've taken it up to 600% and I can't make.
Yeah, we could definitely give you a higher resolution. We'll put that on the website at a higher resolution. I apologize for that, but
No,
I
but we
didn't know
needed,
I didn't know that was an issue. If not, I would have.
Well, no, in other words, when we spoke to the gentleman, I'm sorry, what's his name?
Rolando Rios.
Mr. Rios. When we spoke to Mr. Rios, one street can make a difference. I'm not talking about politically. I'm talking about representation. When I was part of the process 11 years ago, when we went to single-member district in the city, and 5 out of the 7 representatives lived within a 3-block radius. Okay, so that was the whole purpose of us going to district representation, so that each one of us could live within our own corridor from the city, and that part of town have its proper representation. So when I'm telling you, it's not to give you a hard time. It's that I need to see clearly where we're drawn. I'm trying to make heads or tails out of my western portion, and I can't.
Okay. Like I said, I can get you a higher resolution image of this map. But really, your boundary sits at 14th Street.
I realize that, but when you do the boundary between District 4, District 3, and 1 in one particular section, I'm sorry, I can't make heads or tails, because I know I see Lindale, I see Ash, but everything in between, I don't. I see Palm Boulevard, but there's key streets there in the middle that honestly do make a difference.
Okay.
You know, when it comes to the boundaries that we have at our, I know that between District 1 and 4, when it came to the university, Camarillo and I we wouldn't clash, we would just have a lot of concerns about, you know, one street made a difference in the necessities and in the needs that we needed for our area.
Okay, why don't we identify, the District 1 is in what color?
In yellow.
Okay.
District 2 is in red. District 3 is in blue, and District 4 is in green. And, I mean, and I'm willing to answer any questions that you might have. You know, we try to keep it all as, you know, to address your question, Commissioner Longoria, is, you know, I think District 1, although you're adding a little bit, it's still very, the interest among that community is very similar to the rest of your district. So, and we drew that line based on that.
Okay. Anyone else have a public comment?
I just have a couple comments. I mean, ideally, for me, I'd like to keep what I already have and expand, but I'm not always going to be here, and I know this should be in the interest of the city and the constituents, so I understand what I'm losing and what I'm gaining. What doesn't make sense to me is that peninsula on the west, which is La Galaxia and I believe La Lomita. I do understand the constraints and the deviation that you have to consider and why you're putting it there, but it almost kind of isolates them from the rest of their district.
Yeah, and that was, that had to be, if District 4 cuts along, the original boundary to me was Alton Glore when we first studied it. But as I said in our meetings, you know, it really pushed the deviation to 25%.
But when I studied it with Mr. Rios, by him keeping Galaxia and with the Valley Inn and Country Club, he was balanced out because there is that, in other words, there was a deviation there where District 3 was cutting in to the Valley Inn Country Club on that particular boundary.
And that is true. The first version of this map, we had that. However, when we went back and we said, you know what, let's try to get a map with clearly defined boundaries, this is what we came up with, because the expressway is really the boundary. It should really be the boundary between east and west. And I mean, it's my decision, this is your decision, but to have clear line boundaries, we decided the expressway was the boundary. Originally, District 3 kind of leaked into here and picked up a little bit of this. And you know, we were trying to meet the wishes of the commission to have those defined boundaries, clearly defined boundaries.
That's why I asked, have you had ample opportunity to discuss all this with all the commissioners?
Of course. I mean,
okay.
You know, we emailed and I called a couple times. And,
sure. No, I mean, I had ample time to visit with you, and I told you exactly what, you know, make sure the guidelines are followed. So anybody else have public comment?
Move to close.
I just have one. I like this much better than the first version because of the clear boundaries. My only question, and I think you answered it, was the same as John's, which was that peninsula. Why doesn't the green go all the way to the river?
Initially, we had this is Alton Glore right here, and I had said, okay, everything north of Alton Glore is in District 3. However, you have to keep census tracts you can't split the census tract. So the best way, and if you put it all in District 4, our deviation would have been 25%.
Oh, I see.
So District 4 would have been overly populated. And therefore, the easiest thing the easiest boundary that I found was 281. You know, it is, you know, the interests are maybe a little different than the rest of District 3.
Did Mr. Rios' opinion concur with yours?
Yes.
When you did that?
Yes, of course. We looked at it and we said, you know, the other boundary that we could have cut across was Morrison Road, and everything north sit in but then you're splitting the census tract, and you can't do that. So that's, you know, unfortunately, that's kind of the easiest way it happens. So.
Right. Anyone else in the audience? Anyone else in the commissioners? Anything else?
I mean, I'm very satisfied with the way District 2 was cut. It's a very definitive line, and it wasn't like anything was being removed from my district other than a small portion that's going to go to Rick. That area has had a lot of maintenance recently. We repaved everything and whatnot, and so that would be the Apollo, Armstrong, space area. And so that, I think they're in good hands with Rick, but, just to show that it's not a political, line that we're kind of drawing, because, I've invested a lot of time and energy. It's to clear the boundaries, but with all due respect, there's a lot of very important representation that needs to be distinguished, and those are in areas that don't get as much as attention, but need just as much work. And so I think that's something that we have to consider regardless of the numbers, and really, really focus on, because the one thing that would be pushing us backwards is to forget about people. And that's...
I think overall, this will help the citizens, it'll help you, and it'll be able to say, okay, you'll be able to say, if anybody asks you, who are you my representative or not, you say, well, are you north or south of Boca Chica? Or are you east or west of the expressway? Or are you north or south of Alton Glory? I mean, that's just simple, So.
Actually, Ramiro, like I said, we went through a series of
Yeah.
things, and this seems to be a pretty adequate map. But again, I will entertain a motion to close
public hearing?
Okay.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Somebody's,
people
somebody's raised.
Can you step up?
Come up here. Come here, son. Go ahead.
Move to reopen public hearing?
Needs more
Input.
information.
For the
It's not
record,
just about
I'm
us.
Christian Diaz, and
Sure.
this sounds like a really, really, really big decision that kind of takes a professor or a professional who actually specializes in this. And I think a second opinion is kind of warranted here. I mean, it seems like you're all really concerned, and it sounds like something someone has to specialize especially on to be wary of. So I think
And your first name, sir?
Christian Diaz. My first name is
no,
Christian.
Christian, what happens is, the expert is the lawyers that we hire, who have all the knowledge with regards to what are the criteria that has to be gotten. And if you noticed, this conversation has been going on for some period of time, is that we do, in other words, that little peninsula that Commissioner Villarreal's talking about, I think that was a concern of all of us at one time, but then that variance would create, right there, would create an imbalance insofar as the number of people who are in that district. So this is not our first, time that we've looked at it. I think that's why I kept saying, and I want the public to know, that this department and the lawyer in San Antonio has been through this several times with us.
To be frank, I truly don't understand it. It's beyond me. I'm not going to try and figure it out in 5 minutes. But my point was that it seems like something you guys are still kind of hesitant about, and I would.
Well, I was just answering your point as far as an expert, we have consulted.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
No, and not only him, but also
Oh.
the lawyer in San Antonio who's addressed this problem and worked with us on previous occasions. So it's not like we're just kind of making it up.
Yeah, I think we're just.
Oh,
not
no, I didn't think that.
Conveying the information to the public as best as we can. So maybe we can just find a way to put the map on the website, maybe contact the Herald so that they can do a story, just to get people more informed. Yes, we all know, and we all had an opportunity to work with you, and I appreciate it. I think this is great. It makes it, more fair and even, but the community needs to know who potentially could become their commissioner and what district they could potentially reside in.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, there's an educational component to this once the district lines do change, but we really can't start that until it's adopted, so.
Sure.
So at this point, this is where we'll go and get,
As part of the public, I'm telling you, I'm really overwhelmed by that. It just looks like something I just popped open in an encyclopedia and I wouldn't even know what to do with it, kind of deal. So if you want to educate the public, I'll tell you right now, you have a job to do.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
And you can't expect the public to come and participate in a public hearing if they don't know anything about it. So I'm done. That's my 2 cents.
Okay.
Move to close public hearing?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
People are always
Now
more
it's
important than
action.
numbers.
Do I have a motion?
Representation is more important
Move to approve?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you.
and I will get you a high resolution.
Please.
Item 9, public comment period. Item number 10, consideration and action on resolution number 2012-095 to approve an amended plan of finance to issue certificates of obligation to finance the construction and acquisition of certain capital improvement projects, and authorizing the city staff and professional advisors to prepare and distribute all documents and take all actions deemed necessary in connection with preparing for the issuance of such obligations, including the selection of underwriters.
Honorable Mayor, members of the City Commission, on October the 16th, you approved a plan of finance to issue $11,831,000 for COs on various projects. The handout that's being handed to you right now, you can turn to page 2 of 5, if you could. And that particular schedule shows the COs or the plan of finance that were approved on not only on the 16th, but also the amendments that we're adding tonight. One of the areas that, on page 2 of 5, you'll see the hangar for the airport that's listed as a taxable certificate, and that's because it's going to be used for private use. Since then, we are amending this to include 2 items, and that's at the very bottom on line 24 and line 25, which includes the Brownsville Metro Maintenance Yard Building, which is in need of great repair. It's kind of a safety issue in that building that needs to get rehab or repaired. And we're also we added the local share for the construction of a shelter dome. So those 2 items that we're adding tonight, which is $1,225,000, if you add the $625,000 and the $600,000, you add those, the total amount of the amendment would be $1,225,000 plus the previous one of $11,831,000 will give you a plan of finance to issue $13,056,000 in certificates of obligation. If you go back to page 4 or 5, it shows the effect of this particular issuance that we'll have. If you look on column L of line 11, you'll see that the tax rate that will service that's the interest and sinking fund, which is debt service fund, will go from 25.13 cents to 26.44 cents, which is a small amount compared to what we'll be issuing. But if you look on column C gives you the net assessed valuation growth. In 2013, we had a growth of 3.48%. 2014, we estimate 2.5%. 2015, 2%, and so forth. We need some growth along the way with the new issuance. And then on page 5 of 5 gives you the calendar of events or the timetable. We're looking at December 26th as the closing date when we get our money for the certificates. We recommend that you approve this amended plan of finance tonight.
It's an action item.
Would you approve?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, Pete. You got the next one?
Item 11, consideration and action on resolution number 2012-096 to authorize publication of notice of intention to issue certificates of obligation to renovate, repair, and improve the Brownsville Metro Maintenance Yard Building and fund the city's share to construct an emergency shelter dome.
Honorable Mayor, members of the City Commission, this resolution authorizes us to publish a notice of intention to issue this certificates of obligation. And one publication will appear on November the 9th, and the second one on November the 16th. We recommend that you adopt this resolution.
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion carries.
Item 12, consideration and action on resolution number 2012-097 to approve an interlocal agreement between the City of Brownsville and Topeka Metropolitan Transit Authority to purchase transit buses.
City Commission, Brownsville Metro is requesting the consent from the City Commission to authorize an agreement between the City of Brownsville and the MTA to purchase some transit buses. This is going to be done under an interlocal agreement, an interlocal purchasing agreement that we have in place, and they will be purchasing 10 of the options that are available.
Move to approve. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Norma.
Item 13, consideration and action to authorize the acceptance and expenditure of the Texas Department of Public Safety, Department of Homeland Security, FEMA Grant Programs Directorate of fiscal year 2012 Homeland Security Grant Program, State Homeland Security Program, and awarded to the Brownsville Office of Emergency Management and Homeland Security in the amount of $30,000.
Honorable Mayor, Commissioners, this is a competitive regional grant. There is no local fund or local match required for this particular grant. This grant was available to all eligible jurisdictions within Cameron, Hidalgo, and Willacy County. This particular grant was earmarked as enhancement of regional response teams. The equipment that will be purchased under this grant is CBRNE, which stands for Chemical, Biological, Radiological, Nuclear, and Explosives or Enhanced Conventional Weapons. And this is basically personal protective equipment for Brownsville Police Department SWAT team and tactical team members.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Item 14, consideration and action to authorize the acceptance and expenditure of the Texas Department of Public Safety, Texas Division of Emergency Management, fiscal year 2012 Emergency Management Performance Grant, awarded to the Brownsville Office of Emergency Management and Homeland Security in the amount of $55,342.49.
Honorable Mayor, Commissioners, this is also a statewide competitive grant. This grant is allocated through the federal government. This is funded by Congress as a separate appropriation, and I'll get to that in just a moment. But this grant here locally is utilized to partially reimburse expenditures from budget category 01303, which is emergency management, and it's to reimburse for some of the administrative expenses utilized by the Emergency Management Office. You will note that this is listed as fiscal year 2012. The grant cycle that you're approving tonight is for expenditures from October the 1st of 2011 through September the 30th of 2012. The federal government has a tendency to be a little bit late when they pass this particular appropriation, so we have already expended the funds, and this will be partial reimbursement for what was spent last fiscal year.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Item 15, consideration and action to approve the acceptance of a grant from the Texas Department of State Health Services to the Brownsville Fire Department in the amount of $15,600.
Honorable Mayor, Commissioners, you have before you a grant application that we received for the purchase of 12 AEDs to replace our old ones on our fire trucks for a grand total of $15,600 plus a match of 50 cents to $1 for us. We ask for your approval on this so we can replace those AEDs in the fire trucks.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 16, consideration and action to award a term contract for the purchase and delivery of bunker gear.
Honorable Mayor, Commissioners, you have before you the responsive bidder of Casco Industries to provide us with bunker coats and bunker pants. They were the responsive bidder on this contract for the bunker gear for our firefighters.
It was Boundtree?
No, you're talking bunker gear. We're talking about not medical supplies.
Bunker gears for what, bombs?
The coat and the pants that we use to go into a fire and be able to fight the fire. That heavy stuff that we wear. It protects us from the fire, basically. It's not fireproof, but it does protect us.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 17, consideration and action to award a term contract for medical supplies for use by the EMS Division of the Brownsville Fire Department.
Honorable Mayor, Commissioners, you have before you the responsive low bidder of Boundtree. They came in about $700 lower on their price bids of the medical supplies to be provided for our EMS services to the citizens.
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chief.
Item 18, consideration and action to award a term contract for print material services for the Brownsville Public Library System.
Honorable Mayor, Commissioners, at the request of the library system, the purchasing department solicited formal sealed proposals for library materials for the library system. That includes print materials and audiovisual items. The solicitation was advertised twice in the Brownsville Herald back on August 12th and 19th and was posted on the Purchasing Department's website and the Texas bid system. The number of vendors that received the notice regarding the solicitation was 114. The number who accessed the bid package was 46. Responses were received on September 5th. A total of 4 vendors responded to the solicitation request. Those were Children's Plus Incorporated, Permabound Books, Scholastic Library Publishing, and Baker & Taylor. The evaluation committee met on Monday, September 24th regarding the evaluation process and afterwards reviewed and scored each proposal. The highest ranked firm was determined to be Baker & Taylor of Charlotte, North Carolina. The evaluation committee recommends the award of a term contract for the library collection materials to Baker & Taylor with a targeted commencement date upon commission approval and for 3 years thereafter, with the possibility of 2 years extended if the city commission wishes to do so. Funding for the contract is available for the library system's standard 710 book budget.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you,
Thank you.
Jerry.
Item 19, consideration and action to award a term contract for uniforms for use by the Brownsville Police Department.
Mayor, Honorable Commission, I have 4 items today. The first item is going to be the police clothing contract. We solicited bids for, it's basically uniforms and about 50 other items that are associated with our uniforms. The lowest bidder came in as Galls, and this, like I said, this is a 3-year contract. We're fully funded through our current budget to pay for these items, and I'm requesting your approval.
Move to approve.
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 20, consideration and action to award a contract for the purchase, delivery, and installation of audio-video recording equipment, hardware, and software, and 10 mobile computers for the Brownsville Police Department.
Honorable Mayor, Commission, I apologize. This should be after agenda item number 22. We're requesting to purchase 10 more police vehicles under a current contract. This basically is just the audio and video equipment that's associated with the units. This is a DR purchase. No quotes are necessary.
Okay, Commissioner.
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 21, consideration and action to award a contract for the purchase and delivery of 10 sedan vehicles for the Brownsville Police Department.
Honorable Mayor, City Commission, this is the purchase of sedan vehicles for our CAD fleet. It's investigators. We're excited about this. We worked with the city manager. Our fleet is still in decent shape, and what we're going to be doing is transferring our current fleet to Mr. Kabler, and he's going to be distributing it out. We're trying to work with the city as far as covering costs. The cost for we're excited about this because it's going through Tipton Ford, a local vendor. The funding is federal forfeiture, not through city funds. So we're excited about that. And,
So we're recycling them, we're not getting any new?
no, but we're recycling, and the units that we're replacing are actually in pretty good shape. So they're going to Mr. Kabler, and he's going to be distributing them to the city. So
Cool.
we don't have to buy any more cars.
That's good, that's
So
good.
we're working together.
I was just wondering if we were expanding, but no, that's good.
Entertain a motion.
Still
Move
good.
to approve.
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 22, consideration and action to award a contract for the purchase and delivery of 10 police patrol vehicles for the Brownsville Police Department.
Again, we're excited about this also. This is through Tipatex. Back in March, you all approved that we purchased 10 police cars. Again, we're purchasing 10 more through federal forfeiture funds, no city funds. And we're just upgrading our fleet and making sure we're getting it going. So we ask for approval on this.
Motion.
Go ahead.
Motion to
Sorry.
approve.
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank
I
you,
wanna know the
Commander.
results, I'm
Appreciate
sorry.
it.
Thank you.
It's election night.
Item 23, consideration and action to request authorization to renew a term contract for paving services.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, City Commissioners. Tonight, we're requesting your approval to renew a term contract for paving services to the primary contractor, G&T, company out of Brownsville, Texas, lowest responsible bidder, and the secondary company, RML Hauling and Milling of Brownsville, Texas. The city would like to exercise its option to extend the term of this contract for the first 12 months. The extension would be at the original price. Funding is available from the general fund, account number 01-417-745, street maintenance.
I have a question. Why do we have a primary and a secondary?
We're looking for the best price for this service. We got one from G&T, which came in at $19.49 a ton, and the secondary came in at $21.99.
I know, but why do we get primary and secondary? Have we used the secondary?
No, ma'am, we have not utilized our secondary only because we've done everything in-house. Usually when we utilize our primary, we've had the option to utilize them, and they've been very accessible to us.
The primary contract?
Yes, ma'am. Of course, we're trying to save the money for the city too at that price.
When this is a renewal, so how many, what was the term, the original term?
We're looking, it's a one-year contract. We're looking to extend it. We have the option to extend it 2 more years, but we're looking to extend it 1 more year.
Do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve. Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Honorable Mayor, City Commissioners.
May I read the item, please?
Boy,
I want to get out there.
Item 24, consideration and action to request authorization to extend a term contract for Type D hot mix for a period of 60 days for the city of Brownsville.
Okay. Honorable Mayor, City Commissioners, tonight we're requesting your approval of an extension of the term contract for Type D hot mix asphalt for the primary company, which is Frontera Material of Elsa, Texas, and the secondary company, which is Upper Valley Materials out of Mission, Texas, for an additional 60 days. This extension of 60 days will allow us to the Purchasing Department and Public Works to solicit competitive bids for the said projects.
Okay, so this is just for 60 days?
Yes, ma'am.
And then you're going to...
We're going to go out for solicit bids to get a new contract,
Okay.
and hopefully we can get it, well, we're trying to get it for a year only because the price of oil changes every year, so 1 year was probably the best.
Hear a motion?
Second?
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right. Thank
Motion
you,
to
guys.
adjourn.
Now something.
You have a second and a third.
I want to go see the results, sorry.
Motion to adjourn?
Yes.
Second.
All right, yeah. None too soon. Everybody in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Great.
Come on, Tony, that took you a long time.